Do they have to be Thermomix related, Michelle?
No, any burning questions? I mean, look, I'm here for it.
I was going to say there's World Cup football on. We can ask any question we want because there's going to be many in this that are not watching. Or there's going to be lots of people in here that are avoiding watching the football, I suspect. Maybe.
Me.
Well, with the diverse panel of presenters that we have here tonight, I reckon we could answer a fairly good array of questions. So, hit us up in the chat room.
Yeah, I was going to say, and a diverse range of ages and experiences. So I'm sure that we've got lots of things that we can answer.
Yeah. So, hi, Dorothy in New York. Hi, Jess in Oxford. Hi, Joe in Mid Wales, Anita in Guildford, Melanie in Oxford, doesn't have one yet. Hello, I'm Ramona in London, no Thermomix yet. Hi, Lou in Torquay, Glasgow. Hi, Mia and Josh. Tanith in Sussex. Oh, Sue in Plymouth, Carol in Oxfordshire. Okay, you all from all over.
Wow.
Right, have we got nearly everybody in so that we can get going?
Yeah, I think so. I'll keep an eye on the participants.
Okay.
Can I just check we've got Anna? Because we're missing Anna.
No, I am here.
Oh, you're here. Okay, can you spotlight Anna?
Yeah, I'm just only in the small screen. But hi, everyone.
Sorry, Anna, I missed your message.
Let me find you. I can't find you on the list. Oh no, I can't find you.
She's here. She's spotlight.
No, brother. Oh, there she is. Hello, gorgeous.
Oh, she's from your link. That's why you couldn't find her.
Okay. Yeah. She's another Deborah Johnson. There you go.
There's a few of me as well from my link. So that's all right.
Okay. Shall we do it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, can somebody hit record?
I think we've done it.
We did hit record. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us this evening. We're going to just introduce ourselves as we start presenting because there's loads of us here. But I'm Michelle. I'm a team leader in Guernsey, and I've been a Thermomix advisor. Actually, I was a customer first of all, then an advisor, then a team leader, now an area leader for the last 10 years. So we're doing lots of dishes for you tonight, roughly based on kind of inspiration for summer cooking. So whether you're doing things at home for the family or you are having friends and family around, we want to give you some nice ideas for what you can do in your Thermomix. And if you don't have a Thermomix yet, this is it. This is the TM7, and we'll be going through it this evening. I would suggest if anybody doesn't have a Thermomix, contact your local advisor for a more in-depth demo afterwards, because we're going to be flying through things this evening. Okay, so I am going to do
Can we pin Michelle? I can't do it from here. It's not doing it for some reason.
I'll just remove everyone else from the spotlight.
Okay,
if everybody could just make sure that your view is on speaker view as well, that will really help you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I did a class this afternoon with two of my colleagues in Guernsey, Julia, who's a team leader over there, and Anne, who's an advisor. And it was a wonderful class, and unfortunately it didn't record. But I'm going to try and recreate the quiche that Anne did for us, because it was absolutely fabulous. And she had some great tips around pastry. So I'm going to try and remember it all. And so one of the things that she said is that there's a particular recipe that she does all of the time to do her pastry. And it is the pastry crust that comes with, let me get my recipe back up here, a crab tart. So the recipe calls for a pepper and parmesan crust, and it's got, we're going to pulse together the ingredients. We're not going to add any liquid to it, any water. We're going to be adding some egg yolk, but we're not going to add any water, which means that hopefully our pastry is not going to shrink. The other thing is that we're going to put the pastry crust in the freezer rather than blind baking. So it makes it quicker and easier, and you can actually even just pre-make your pie crust, put it in the freezer, and then pull it out when you're ready to bake your quiche, so you can get prepared ahead. So so I'm going to just be adding some little tips as we go along. B is pinning the recipe there in the comments, and so you can look that up in your cookie do, and maybe have a look at it while I'm doing it. So this recipe calls for some spice to be crushed up first of all, so some peppercorns. So we've got a teaspoon of peppercorns that I've put in there already. Now, Anne, when she was doing hers this afternoon, used Szechuan peppercorns, which are a lovely kind of smoky, sweet, kind of Asian type peppercorn, which it adds a really, really distinct flavour. It's really beautiful. But I just have good old black peppercorns, and I've crushed those down. And if you are new to Thermomix, you might not know that you can absolutely blitz pretty much everything. So you can put nutmeg in there and you're going to be able to get powder from it. So really good for making your own spice blends and for grinding down your own flour. Yeah, you can crush pretty much anything. So I've done that already. So I blitzed that for 10 seconds on speed 10. And then the next thing is that I'm going to put, so I'm going to just skip that past that little step, and I'm going to put in some Parmesan. So I've got 50 grams of hard Parmesan going in there, and it's going to grate it for me. Now with Parmesan, you can use the whole thing, so even the crust of the Parmesan. So, and that's really nice. It just needs a few extra seconds. So it's setting this up for, I'm just going to tick that in there. So that was 50 grams. I had pre-weighed it actually, but the weighing scales came up so that I could weigh it accurately. So it's 15 seconds at speed 8. If I was using the crust of the Parmesan, I would add on probably an extra 5 seconds to that. So I'm going to press play.
So I will say, just you'll notice that there's no noise when we are mixing. It's because Zoom automatically cuts out. If you've not had a Thermomix before, it's not some magic blender that makes no noise at all. Although the TM7 is a lot quieter than other models. So yeah, whenever we press play, if we're grinding or milling or chopping, you're not going to hear any sound just because of Zoom.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that one is quite noisy because the Parmesan is noisy and it's at pretty much full throttle. So so thank you for that. So that is what that's done with our Parmesan. So it's down to a really lovely and very fine powder, and the pepper is incorporated with this. Now, with this particular recipe is obviously using savoury ingredients, and we're filling it with a savoury filling. However, you can use this exact same method to make a sweet pastry. And with that, what I would do is I would get do I have any lemon nearby? I would use a vegetable peeler to take some strips off my lemon. I would pop that in there with a little bit of sugar, and I would grate that down. So that's going to zest your lemon very finely. I just avoid the white bit, which is called the pith. So I would just use the outside of it. And then I'm going to use, some sweet ingredients for my pastry. So, if I was making something like, an apple tart or something. So it's the exact same method that we're doing here, but just slightly different ingredients. Okay, so I am going to do that. So I've grated that. And then I'm going to add in my flour. So I've got 220 grams of plain flour going in there. Again, my weighing scales has come up. This is called the digital twin. It tells me what's happening here. It knows the lid is off at the moment. I'm going to press that big green button down there that says tar. That's going to bring it back down to 0. And in goes my 220 flour, 222. There we go. And then I've got my unsalted butter. And I diced this a little while ago, and I just popped it in my fridge. Because the thing with pastry is you want to keep everything as cold as possible, and you want to have as little handling of it as possible. And that's going to give you a really delicate, light pastry. So I'm going to pop in my 170 grams, and I've just popped that into little cubes just to show you what I've done there. There we go. And then I've got an egg yolk going in there. And so that's the only kind of liquid as such, but I'm not adding any water. So with a lot of pastry recipes, you'll see some iced water going in there, but that water, and I've learned this from Anne today, is what sometimes causes that shrinkage, and then you get leaking with your tart, so especially if you're making a quiche. Okay, so that's that. And then I've just got a little teaspoon of salt going in there. Beautiful. Okay, and then here comes the magic. So the turbo function, which is one of our shortcuts as well, is going to be activated here. So it's going to go 2 seconds by 5. So 5 to 8 times. 5 is usually enough. and that's going to bring the pastry together just enough so that we can form it into our pastry crust. We want to, again, handle it as little as possible. So the more you work it, the denser and the heavier it gets. So we want to just really, really quickly incorporate that butter into our flour, and we've got our egg yolk in there. So I'm just going to press play, and that's going to turbo for me.
Funny because we've just seen it turbo because the screen's just shaking as you've done it. So Michelle's just had like a little fit.
1980s movies.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
So for anybody who's got an older Thermomix, what you'll notice is Michelle's not having to manually activate the turbo on every round. With the TM7, you set how many times you want it to turbo for, and then you just press play, and then it'll automatically stop and start itself for however many pulses you've set.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So it's just starting to come together. You can see that it's kind of breadcrumby, and it's just, if I just pull out a little bit and just press it together, you can see that that's coming together really nicely. So rather than the next step on this, and again, I've learned this from Anne today, and I'm giving it a go here and hoping it's going to work. Rather than putting this together and putting it in the fridge to chill and then rolling it out, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tip it out onto the base of my flan tin. So I'm going to just I'm going to tip it out onto here. I'm going to tip it out on top of here. I'm going to put some cling film on top of that, and then I'm going to roll it down to the thickness that I want, and then I will lift that up and I will put it back into my case like that. And then I will use the leftover bits of pastry just to press into the sides. And again, with kind of minimal handling. And she had a pastry tamper today, which looks a bit like the end of a rolling pin, actually. So I'm going to use that just to press it in and make it all really nice and neat. I don't need to grease this. I don't need to line it because there's already fat in the pastry, which is going to make sure that it doesn't stick. And yeah, and that's it. And then when that's done, so I'm going to do this while the next presenter is coming on, and then I'm going to pop it straight into my freezer. And then I will put my oven on and prepare the filling for my quiche so that I can show it to you at the end. But I just wanted to show you that bit. So I'm going to just be going ahead. I might show you the pastry in its case in a few minutes, just when I finish that bit, if that's okay. So I'll hand over to our next presenter, who is it B?
Yep, hi, it's me, and yeah, give me a wave when you're ready, Rochelle, and we will show you back again.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is B. I am a team leader based down in Devon and Cornwall, and yeah, I have been with Thermomix 9 years. I flipping love the machine. I think it's amazing. I use it for everything. I am a mum to 3 little children, including a little 5-month-old. And I genuinely could not do all of this without my Thermomix. So I don't know if anybody else on the call has young kids or whatever. Like, what do you find is the biggest win? Let us know in the chat, because it's always nice to hear what difference it's making for you. And if you got your Thermomix when you're older, are you part of the crew who says, I wish I had it when my kids were younger? Also let us know. So tonight I'm going to be showing you steaming, because a lot of us, when it's hot weather, don't really want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, but we want to have a lovely meal made up for our family. And so today I am going off-piste. I'm not doing a cookie dough recipe. I'm just going to show you the steaming mode. And I have prepped stuff before, but disclaimer, it has taken me 5 minutes to get everything ready for this. So we have got, with our Thermomix, obviously the main bowl, right? Inside of the bowl, we have our steaming basket, and below that is where you put your liquid. Now, some steaming recipes, you will put like your tomato sauce down there, and then you might steam your meatballs and the aroma on top. You can do, I've done a recipe before where it's like coconut milk and everything in the bottom, and then rice in here, and then basically your rice is flavored through the sauce and everything. So there's lots of different ways you can use your steamer. I'm going to use multi-level cooking, which A, saves you energy, B, saves you a lot of time, and for me, saves me lots of pots and pans because it all goes in the dishwasher at the end. So in my steaming basket, I have just popped in some gorgeous Jersey Royal new potatoes because they're in season. And I got so lucky today. I walked into the shops and they were like 90p on reduced. I was like, I'll have those, thank you very much. So in the basket down here is our Jersey Royals. In fact, I also need to weigh in my water. So I'm going to go down the side here to modes, which is the fourth icon down. And I'm going to pick my steaming mode. And now with the TM7, you've got your scales and your mode on one screen. So it doesn't automatically come up with the scales. You press the scales button there, and now you can weigh. I'm going to put in 500 grams of water because the rule for steaming is 500 grams for every 20 to 30 minutes of steaming. So weigh in my water. If you're doing rice, you need a minimum of 1,000 grams of water just because it washes the rice at the same time. Right, roughly 500 grams of water. Then we're going to put our lid on. But to do the steaming, we do not need our lid cap. So we take that bit off, put our lid on. Then I've got my Varoma dish. So in my Varoma dish this evening, I have got broccoli stalks and some carrot sticks. And in a bit later on, I'm also going to put in some prawns, which are semi-thawed at the moment. They're meant to be more defrosted, but they're not. Some prawns, and the reason why I put them in the stainless steel dish is because I don't want the liquid from the prawns dripping onto the rest of my ingredients, but I still want them to cook through. So the metal will take up the heat of the steam and it will just help ensure the even cooking, but it will contain any liquids that come out of my prawns. I'm not going to put them in for the full length of time though. I will add them a little bit later. And then later on, the other thing I will add on in my top level is some pak choy, and in this little goodie bag, I'm hoping it won't fall apart, I have wrapped up some pear, chopped up pear, just simple pear. I had some pears going over, like we're going away and I just don't want to waste them. So I thought this evening I'll just stew them and then I can just simply add a bit of a crumble topping and I can either pop it in the air fryer or just pop it into little ramekins, put it in the freezer, and those are my ready-made crumbles for another night. So when I've got about, I don't know, 15 minutes left, so I'm going to do 15 minutes of steaming and then I'll do another 15 minutes. I will put this level on and that will steam through the last bits. The way steaming works is you have to imagine that the heat gets less as you get up the layers. So because people say to me, how do you put everything on at once and then it cooks? Well, this is how. The bottom here will get hot, probably 8 to 10 minutes ahead of the top level. And it's just because that's how long the steam takes to build in the upper levels. And so the things you want to cook for the longest, you put lower down the levels, and the things that you want to cook for less time, you put at the top. And of course, you can add stuff like I'm going to do. You can add stuff later on. That's just going to steam for 5-10 minutes. I'm also starting with cold water. I'm not starting with boiling water or anything like that. So you allow probably 2 or 3 minutes for that water to get to full temperature if you're kind of calculating steaming times. Then here on our modes, let me just get a little bit closer. Over here on our modes, on the TM7, we've got our time, we've got our speeds and everything, but this last section here is really important. You need to choose the right thing that you're cooking with. So I'm cooking with multi-level tonight, so I need to cook that because inside the bowl is a pressure thermometer, pressure sensor, and if you're cooking inside the bowl and you haven't selected it, it will detect that there's too much pressure buildup and it will stop steaming, because I've had that happen to me. And then as soon as I changed it over, it worked absolutely perfectly fine. So it's very clever inside the bowl there. Now, I want to steam it, as I said, for 15 minutes. So 10 is automatically programmed. Along the bottom here are presets. I'm going to do 5 minutes. I don't need to set a temperature because it's steaming mode, so it knows it wants to make steam. And I'm going to leave it on 1, but had I been doing rice, I would have speed 4 because I want it to wash my rice at the same time as steaming. And I'm just going to press play, and that is going to start. Now you'll notice I haven't put my lid on yet, so grab your Thermomix lid, pop it on top, and now you can go and chill out in the garden whilst your dinner gets cooked. Go and do those necessary weeding or whatever you need to do for your garden. Take the dog for a walk, and of course your phone If you haven't already connected it up, do chat to your advisor, because your phone should be talking to you and telling you how long you've got left on your cooking. So when you're out on your walk, you know, oh, I need to head back home now. I've got to do the next stage. So yeah, that's it from me for now. I'm going to come back to Michelle and she will show you the next part of her recipe.
Yeah, so I was just going to just show you quickly what I've done. So I rolled out my pastry directly onto the base of that tin, and I had just a little layer of cling film on top of it, and just rolled it out, transferred it over, and then I just pressed in the sides again, just using that little bit of cling film, and I just used the edge of my that thing, rolling pin, can't get my words tonight, just to get it in nice and neatly. And then I'm just kind of going around with my knife and just trimming it just to make it lovely and neat. And I'm hoping Anne would be proud of me. I'm quite proud of me. It's a little bit rustic looking, but I'm going to just pop that into the freezer now for about 20 minutes to half an hour, while I'm just getting my filling organized. And I'm going to put my oven onto higher than normal. I'm actually going to put it onto 200 degrees rather than 180, and that means that I'll get a very quick bake, because I'm not blind baking my pastry. I'm going to put it into a hot oven for about 20 minutes, and then I'll turn my oven down. So that's it for the pastry. I'll hand over and I'll go ahead and put this in the freezer. Thanks, Bea.
Hi, Bea, is that me now?
I think we're off to you, Debbie. Yeah.
Hi everyone, how are you? I'm Debbie Johnson up on Wirral, near Liverpool, if anybody doesn't know the Wirral, near Chester, whichever you are. Somebody asked a question, Bea, if I cover that. Somebody asked a question about the bowl, how to reassemble the bowl. You've got the TM7 and you've got this slider here, and here's the handle. If it's pulled back to the handle, it's locked in place. To click it open, push it that way, just push it with your thumb that way, and that you'll be able to take out the blade and the bowl. To reassemble it, you've got this big black line down here. That needs to be in line with your handle. So reassemble it exactly the same way, put it in line with your handle. Drop your blades in, okay, just take hold of them and they'll fall into the hole. Once they fall into the hole, the most important thing is to lock it into place, and then that's all secure. So I hope that answers that question. Is that all right?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb.
So that's us. So today I'm going to go, if anybody knows me, I always go off piece. So I'm going to make a recipe that we have found to be absolutely gorgeous at home. And this is, if you're looking for something high protein and low carb, and we're not particularly wanting lots of bread. I don't particularly want to eat lots of bread, but I want lots of energy and I want lots of protein. So I follow this gorgeous nutritionist called Dominique Ludwig. And I think Sam follows her as well. But so I bought a book this day, and I've been making these red lentil bagels and a red lentil loaf. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to convert other recipes. So you can create it yourself. But it's more of a blending recipe, but this is just an alternative to bread, and it's really, really nice. So we're going to do it manual mode now, because doing it on manual mode, if I turn this down here a little bit, you may be able to see. So just click onto manual mode, and you're just going to do it in. So whatever Thermomix you've got, it's still time, temperature, and speed. So I've had one for about 14 years now, and it's always been your time, your temperature, and speed. A blade is how it works. On here, it gives you your scales are set up as well when you're just in manual mode. So it's all set ready for you. Now, what I've done is you have to soak your lentils for at least 8 hours. So depends on if you're going out to work and you're back for tea time, soak them all day in the fridge, pour a kettle of water over them in the morning, as long as it covers the lentils and it soaks, and then give them a really, really good rinse through. So I'll post the recipe. I'll take the recipe into the chat at the end, but it should be on 200 grams of red lentils soaked, but I put more because I'm going to make a loaf and bagels. I'm going to show you. So into here, I'm going to weigh it, so everyone can see, so I know exactly how much I've got. So, sorry, it's now saying it. There we go. Oh, why would it go wrong today now, just because? There's my feet aren't unstable place. Okay. Ah.
I've had that, and I just had
No, it's a pen. It is unstable.
And I was just going to say,
And it wouldn't
Jenny,
matter. It's a Holiday Inn pen as well, so that's a bit telling, isn't it? Where have we been? There you go.
it happens to the best of us, and
It
that's
does.
the whole
It
idea.
always
No
does.
matter
Whenever
how
I get on
long
the
you've had a
line, whenever
Thermomix.
there's a camera on me, you can tell I drop something, I break something, it does it. Sod's law or Murphy's law or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to bring this down. And for some reasons, again, now my settings are all on imperial settings for some reason. Why would that happen? Right, I'm going to give you a big thing though at the moment. I lent this Thermomix to somebody for a couple of days and it's come back and the settings are all on imperial. So I reckon they've been baking using the mum's recipes and still doing on the old recipes, the old imperial ones. So into here, I've got approximately 450 grams of lentils. And into that, I'm going to add, it says a tablespoon of oil. Right, I use my olive oils in an oil spritzer, so I just tend to do. So this is really good extra virgin olive oil, but just I'm heavy-handed. Would anybody think that I was heavy-handed? But I'm heavy-handed, so probably about 10 spritzers of that. But if you're using decent oil, use decent olive oil. Okay, and into that some salt. Okay, so use a nice sea salt if you've got one. Just tastes that a little bit better. So into there, and then you're going to blend those for about a minute. So just go onto there and you're going to take it back and put it onto blend mode. Okay, and then you just want it to blend on speed 8 for about 30 seconds.
So I think the olive oil spritzer is off of Amazon, I believe.
I just got one of those. So funny. I got mine from Amazon. There's a lot of versions of the same thing essentially, but mine was not like the most expensive one, and it's great.
These were Amazon, or they were Amazon, or they could have even been. I've seen them in a shop somewhere. I've got numerous ones. I had a really, really good expensive one, an Evo one, and I took it to a demo and it's never been seen again. So I've just gone for cheap since, but they were. So I've got one which I have avocado oil in, and the other one which I have olive oil in. So I just use that. So I just top them up, and they're just quite easy because they do pour as well as spritz. So that will pulse down. That's pulsed down for about 20 seconds on there, and it's broke some of it down. But you want it to make like not a batter. You want it to make like a thick, almost like Play-Doh, I think is how she describes it. Pop it into here. Do that again. Just redo that.
So you'll see in the chat, some people are saying Dominique has the Thermomix. Yes, she does. She's not endorsed by us. She's not a sponsor or anything like that, but she absolutely loves it because of the quality of the blending. So yeah, and her recipes are great. She showcases like the broccoli salad, and her Instagram is great. She gives loads of nutritional tips and ideas. So do go follow her.
I did. You know what? 3 of my friends have had that book bought for them from me this year as birthday gifts because we're all into like quite high protein. I don't eat meat, but we want like nice vegetable based food, and it's really, really good. But she uses a Thermomix an awful lot of her blending stuff. So into here, it should be for 200 grams. It should be 120 grams of filtered water. So if you 100, so I've got more than that. I've got over 400 and something. So I'm going to put in 200 grams to start off with. See what the consistency is like. And this is what she says. It's by sight. Just use a little bit as you use it to what you want it to. This way you use your senses to see what it is. So I'm just going to add approximately 200 grams in. Okay, and then blend that again.
I've made these bagels. They're amazing.
They are. But are we seeing that she's done a loaf in them as well?
Right. Yeah. Really good. I couldn't believe the texture. It is really, they just work. It's very clever.
Sorry?
The texture is fantastic.
Yeah.
And could you do like a high protein pizza base with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing. So there you go. I've added 200 grams, and to me that's oh, I know what I've forgotten to add. Oh, forgot to add the main ingredient. 50 grams of that's why it's thick. And I told you, the minute I get onto these things, I just go completely doolally.
You need to make it a created recipe, Deb, and then you won't.
I have got a created recipe, but I was trying to show you doing it manual as well. If I'm that good, I've created it so I can send the created recipe around. So psyllium husk. This is the thickening agent that goes in it. So into this now, because I'm doing over, it needs to be at least 50 grams of this. Okay. Which is quite.
Well, when I made them,
you can buy it anywhere, but health food shops, and it also makes it. So this is your thickening binding agent. This is your fibre. This is the thing that gives you that helps move your body, shall we say, girls, or the inside of your body. But this is the thing that mixes it, and this is what creates it.
Don't forget the bicarb, because I did.
Pardon, what was that thing?
It was me. Don't forget the bicarb, Deb, because I.
No, it's not baking. She says baking powder.
Or whatever. But yeah.
No, I know, but you don't put that into the. So now you can see the consistency. You see the consistency that's in there now. Okay, so that's like quite a thick, as you say, like a Play-Doh. You know, it drops as a lump, it drops as a plop rather than anything else. And then into here, very quickly, just 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And the baking powder is the raising agent in it. So this is where you would normally put yeast in it. So you can buy gluten-free if you've got gluten issues, buy gluten-free baking powder. But I think a lot of psyllium husks, though, you have to be careful. I think some of that isn't gluten-free. Now this, what she says is you want the baking powder to rise in the oven and not in the machine. So you only need to do that for just a few seconds because you just want it combined. And then it's really, really simple to make these bagels then. So these is how these will come through. So I'll just mix up between it because I didn't want it all in. And then I'll show you just how easy it is to make and show what I'm going to do. So an open tray with a bit of paper on. And again, I just put a little bit, because this is a dry mix, it's quite a dry thing. I don't want them to stick, so I've just put a little tiny bit of oil on the bottom. And remember, good olive oil is good for you.
Yeah, before your hands get mucky, could you just tilt the camera down onto your worktop, please? Thank you.
Thank you. So on here, wet hands work best. Just damp your hands, a bit of water, or you can do oil, but I just put a bit of water. And then just take a handful. Now, if you're making them for like a group of people you want it equal, then do that. But basically, just create a patty like for like a bagel, and then you can use your use a wooden spoon handle or a wooden handle of anything just to create a hole in it. Now, when I made these the other day, the baking powder activated really, really well, and I lost my hole. So just to say, so it can do it. So just create it like a little bit. And then again, another tip, put your, so I've got some hemp seeds here, but you can use the sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, but put the smaller seeds on the very bottom and then sprinkle over your bigger seeds. And the reason being is when I was doing it, the sesame seeds were on top and it just coated them completely in sesame seeds. And didn't take the pumpkin seeds off the bottom. So when you do here, you then end up with like a nice mixture of the seeds that go on. So I'm just going to finish those and then I'm going to bake them for about 25 minutes. But I'm going to do 4 bagels and then 1 small little loaf and show you exactly that at the end. So I'm quite happy if you want to shift on to somebody else and I'll just carry on doing these. Any questions on that? Was there any questions there?
No, Debbie, I think we answered most of them.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I think we're off to Sam now, are we?
Yeah. I think so.
Hi everybody, my name's Sam and I'm a team leader in Harrogate in Yorkshire. I've been doing this for 11 years and I've met these lovely ladies along the way. So we like to get together and we are a great source of support to each other as well. So I'm loving all the tips so far. I've loved Michelle's pastry tips. Who knew that about not adding water and just about shaping it in the tin? I'm definitely going to be trying that. Brilliant. So I'm going to be doing let's see if it's still on there. Summer rolls with peanut sauce. So these are like Vietnamese rolls, really. And I've actually hybridized 2 recipes. So I love the way that you can just play around. You know, Cookie Doo is there for inspiration and you can really make your recipes your own. So I'm going to start off by soaking one of these. You can get these from Asian supermarkets. You can also get them in normal supermarkets, but you won't get very many of them. Or I think B, you were saying that you picked up a kit. So middle of Lidl, you know, they kind of have like Asian wheat, that kind of thing. And then quite often it sits in our cupboard, doesn't it? Yeah, we've all been there. So what they've got is, I've seen these being made in Vietnam, and they actually lay the rice solution onto baskets, and that's how you have that pattern on them, and then they dry it in the sun. And you can get square ones and you can get round ones. I prefer the round ones for rolling. So they're going to be hard and crispy. So what you need to do, I'm going to angle you down so you can see what I'm up to. I've got cold water. I'm just using my kettle as a jug. What you need to do is dip it. It's hard to see because it's see-through. And you want about 10 seconds on here. It's quite pleasing. So you don't want it super soggy, but you want to be able to obviously bend it without it breaking. My daughter absolutely loves these. She kind of just eats them kind of with a dipping sauce, sort of almost like a tteokbokki, which is the Korean rice cakes. She just loves the texture. It's kind of pleasing for her. What I found with Vietnamese food is, you know, it is naturally quite delicately flavored. And so it's normal for it to feel a little bit bland, perhaps. The beauty comes from the dipping sauces. So obviously you can't see that, but I've put it on my silicone mat here, which is brilliant. And so we're going to make a dipping sauce for this, but I thought I would just show you how to shape the rolls first. So I've got a selection of things. I have used my cutter to do these. So I've got some white cabbage, some red cabbage. Think bright colours because they work best in these rolls, because obviously you can see through them, so you need it to look pretty. My advisor came to borrow my cutter, so I can't demonstrate that, but I've also got some carrots as well, thinly sliced. I've got some leaves, coriander I don't have, but I've got some mint. Mint leaves look fantastic in there. Got some spring onions, and I've got some prawns as well. So, oh, and the main event. I've also got some rice noodles in here. So again, the rice vermicelli, they're quite kind of unyielding when you get them. Again, it's 10 minutes soak in boiling water, drain them, and then I have just put a teaspoon of sesame oil in there just to stop them from sticking to themselves and forming a big ball, really. So I'm going to start off with, so these do dry out quite quickly, so you do need to keep it sort of wet. Normally you wouldn't be talking quite so much about your own dinner, would you, if you're making it? I feel like this might have stuck, but let's see. No, we're good. So you want to be putting the things that you can see in first. So I've got some lovely king prawns here, but I've actually halved them down the middle because they just fit in better. So get them all going kind of the same way. So that looks nice. And you want probably 3 or 4 across there. Then you're going to pop in, oh, maybe I should have put my mint underneath. So these are so nice for summer. And all that flavour is in the dipping sauce. So we're going to add some cabbage. And you can get a surprising amount in. You want them to be really quite nice and toothsome. That, and then nice generous amount. You can put whatever you like in here, to be quite honest.
You can have bread though. That's a nice one.
Okay. They're quite long as well. You can kind of snip them in half. Now, the devil is in the rolling, as with everything, as with sushi. You can see it is quite strong, but it's also quite delicate as well. So I bring one over there. A bit like kind of rolling, you know, like a spring roll that you would be frying or baking or a burrito. And then it looks like it's going to be terrible. And then hopefully at the last minute, and it sort of sticks to itself.
Amazing. Look at that. Big round of applause for you, Sam.
Thank you. I'm so glad it worked. I've not done them for a while, but my daughter absolutely loves them. She's like, you're making summer rolls. That's brilliant. I'm going to make the dipping sauce, which is basically ginger. I don't put the garlic in because I don't want that garlic breath. I'm going to a spa tomorrow, and if I'm sat in a sauna with my friend with garlic breath, it will not go down very well. We're going to grate that, scrape down the sides. I'm going to add peanut butter, soy sauce, sriracha, lime, a bit of water, and whiz it for about 10 seconds, and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll come back later with when I've done a few more.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Right, so we are on next to me. Sorry, I'm just realizing where we're at. I'm very, very quick just to say my Thermomix sang to me about 5 minutes ago, and I literally just whacked everything, the next layers in, and I just put it on for another 15 minutes. So yeah, I don't have anything else to do at the moment. We're going to go on to Ankita now, and I will move that on.
Hi everyone. So I am Ankita. I'm based in Canary Wharf in London, and I think I'm the dinosaur here because I've been an advisor for 17 years. 17 years is when I first bought my Thermomix, the TM31, and I loved it so much that I shortly became an advisor after that. So I've gone through at least 4 versions now, 31, 5, 6, and 7, and still loving it every day. So welcome. I'm staying with the summer theme, but I've gone strawberries as a salad. So it's very interesting. I'm also of a woman of a certain age, just turned 50 a couple of weeks ago, and I'm starting to eat or trying to eat more healthily. So the salad that I'm going to be doing is a quinoa salad. For just full disclosure, I made the quinoa in advance because just like Bee and her steaming, the quinoa needed 20 minutes of cooking. And I actually steamed that in the internal steaming basket, cooked it for 20 minutes, and then put it in the fridge to chill. And the great part about the next recipe is I'm going to throw everything in because it's making a vinaigrette. So actually, I've got the recipe in the chat, which I will just put there as well. And the beautiful part about this recipe for me is the fact that strawberries are now in season, and it's so nice to have strawberries that aren't necessarily as a dessert. So step one was to make the quinoa. So I've made that and cooled. It does actually say clean the mixing bowl, but I've already done that. And the next part is I need a jug, which I just realized I don't have. So I'm going to use a cup because I'm going to actually make an emulsion, and it's asking for 60 grams of olive oil. Now, actually, what's really interesting about being able to measure on top that I've done a lot of measuring. And there you go. I'm not even setting it as a step. I've done a lot of measuring in my past on top of here, which includes male. When I had a baby, I used the Varoma to weigh my son for the first 6 weeks in the Varoma. I think Heather will appreciate this. I weighed my puppy for the first 2 months. So the scales are super versatile, and obviously not encouraged by Thermomix. But the fact is that we are advisors and mums. So sometimes it's nice to see what else you can do with the scales. Set aside. And then this is obviously making the vinaigrette now. So I've just halved and cut some strawberries there, and I need 225 strawberries. So just put that in.
On the topic of strawberries, I made a fabulous strawberry daiquiri at lunchtime today, ladies and gents.
Did you really? Well, I made some more jam, and I've just made some scones as well. So I've got some lemon juice, so 60 grams of lemon juice.
Just to say with the strawberry tops, if you pop them in a jar with some like vinegar, some white wine vinegar, you will make a strawberry flavored vinegar, which is gorgeous in your vinaigrettes as well.
Oh, nice. So there's 60 grams of vinegar, a tablespoon of red wine vinegar as well, some honey to taste. It's really interesting. I've got a local honey supplier from Greenwich, so some fresh honey. There. A teaspoon or tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Some dry ginger, so about a quarter teaspoon of dry ginger. Some salt. And we're gonna press next. And this is now going to mix it on speed 4. But the next step actually says that we're going to slowly put our oil in as well. So I'm just going to stop that if Zoom is quietening you. The reason why we have these holes in the top of the Thermomix is for that slow drip of the emulsification. So in this sense, I'm making this emulsified vinaigrette, but this would be the same method to make a mayonnaise as well. So I'll continue.
So I don't know if any of you have tried emulsions or mayonnaise or anything like that. Summer recipes. There are some gorgeous mayonnaises and emulsions on cookie dough, and so I do encourage you to give them a go. Try them out. Like one of my favorites is Mediterranean. It's aioli. So you blitz the garlic and then you make the mayonnaise. Highly recommend it. I think it's fabulous. Does anybody know how long, Ankita, how much blending have you got left? How long time-wise? I don't know. Did she say how long her blend was? Should we pop over to Joe?
She said she couldn't hear us, so...
Okay. Joe, shall I pop to you and then we'll come back?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm ready.
Okay, I'll add you on. There you go. Go for it, Joe.
Hi, my name is Joanna. I'm based in south of England near Chichester. I've been an advisor 8 years, and I absolutely love Thermomix, like each one of us here, and how it makes my life so much easier. And I'm sure it's the same for you. And like many of you, I wish I bought it sooner. Because when I had kids, babies like B, I didn't have Thermomix and I wish I had. So I'm coming to you today with a very interesting recipe. What I love about cookie dough is that the new recipes appear all the time, and also the ones that are viral on Instagram, and this is one of those. I don't know if any of you have seen a chocolate dessert made from boiled eggs. It sounds a bit weird, and I must say, when I first saw that on Instagram, I was a bit surprised. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna work. But the recipe is on cookie dough. It's on the Polish cookie dough. I'm originally from Poland, but you can translate any recipe on Google Translate, and this recipe is also very easy to make in manual mode. So it's called, well, in Polish, it's a protein chocolate dessert made from boiled eggs. So what I did earlier, I used an egg boiler function, which I absolutely love. Please pop in comments if you do use it. If you don't, please try, because this morning I made soft eggs for breakfast, and they were perfect. They're always perfect. And this one was for hard-boiled eggs. So I made it in advance. I obviously cooled them down, and I've got the eggs here. And it's very quick recipe. Basically, you put the ingredients together and you just blend it. So yeah, so the first step is about the egg boiler, which obviously you can easily skip and go to the main one, which, okay. So now you're just adding eggs like that, 6 eggs, straight to the bowl. Next. Okay, and now we're gonna add cocoa powder. I've got it all pre-weighed, and you just tick from the list. Then it's 200 grams of milk. Okay, tick. Honey. I've got really nice, really good honey, good quality honey. That's really important, as well as with olive oil that Debbie mentioned about olive oil. And I also have the same bottle, and that's amazing. So definitely get it from Amazon. I got it from my mother-in-law as well. When she was visiting, she wanted one. And some vanilla extract. And that's it. So that's all the ingredients. It's high in protein. And I'm gonna blend it all now in 1 minute. So I can maybe, we can maybe go back to Ankita or next person, and I will be back in 1 minute to show you.
Yeah, thanks, Joanna. Yes, but what the beautiful thing is, it is done, and I'll show you in pouring it in the glass. So you've got this really beautiful strawberry emulsification as the dressing. Now, the next part of my recipe is super, super easy. I'm going to take the cooled quinoa, another 200 grams of strawberries, some sliced onion, some pine nuts, and a bag of lettuce. Mix it all in here, crumble some feta, and it's the salad. So I've made this in the last month at least once a week. It's one of my favorite salads at the moment, and the fact that we've got healthy grains is amazing. So yes, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And hopefully Joanna's done.
Yes, I am done. Let me just go back very quickly to the screen because I clicked out. Oh, yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, so it's all done. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a question. It says, daft question, but does it taste eggy? And I said, we're all dying to know. So I'm not trying.
Yeah, well, I will try it. So the consistency is like this, like chocolate mousse. I'm just gonna pour in a little glass to show you. So it is like a nice mousse. This recipe, this kind of amount makes 4 portions. I've got bigger glasses, which I'm gonna decorate in a minute. And okay, that's the moment of truth. Okay, look, but the consistency is great.
I heard you have to set it for at least 8 hours.
Yes. Yeah, so no, the recipe says that to put it in a glass and put it in the fridge for half an hour. So no, it doesn't taste eggy. It tastes like a custard, like cold custard. So I'm not gonna tell my family what is there. You can decorate it nicely, which I'm gonna do probably. First, I would put it in the fridge and then decorate it because and it will thicken a little bit. But that's a really nice, really quick dessert. And it has, I think, 14 grams of protein in the one portion. So, which is slightly less than this. This is half of the portion, I would say. So you would think it's over 25 grams of protein in that portion. And it's, you know, it's, except for honey, it's like guilt-free completely.
Amazing. Thank you, Joe. Right, we're going to jump across to Anna now, and she'll show us our last recipe, I believe. You're on mute still, Anna. Sorry, lovely.
Right, let's do that all over again then. Hi, my name's Anna. I'm a Thermomix advisor and team leader based in Brighton. I've been an advisor for 17 years as well. And yeah, just really still enjoy sharing the love of Thermomix with anyone who'll listen. So what I've chosen today is a Spanish recipe. Of course, those of you who know me, I am Spanish. And it's one of my summer favorites. It's my go-to. It gets made all the time in this house. It's great when I have guests. It's great for us. And let me show you. It's kind of a spread, dip, sandwich filler. You can do so much with it. I'm going to show you a couple of different things that you can do with it. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on with the recipe. I'm going to press start on my screen. I am following the Spanish recipe start to finish on the screen. Don't be scared of foreign recipes. Like this recipe is in Spanish, but you've got ChatGPT, you've got Google Translate and Apple Translate on your phones. You can so easily translate the ingredients and the preparation that it's very, very easy to follow. Okay, so don't be afraid of using other. I'm happy to translate it for you if you wish though. So please get in touch and I can do that also. Right, so the first thing it's asking me to add is 200 grams of spring onions, which I've just kind of chopped in 3, more or less. Whoops. So that's gone in. The next thing I need to add is 300 grams of water. So I've got my jug here ready. A little bit more. Oh, I'm not going to have enough. Let me go and get a little bit more water. There you go, 30 more, and that's my 300 grams. It's approximate, to be honest, because we're going to discard the water in a second. And then I need 20 grams of vinegar. So that's going in now. I'm just using red wine vinegar, but it can be any vinegar, apple cider. You are going to discard it anyway, so it doesn't really matter here. Let's press next. And we're going to pop the lid on, and it's going to chop the spring onions for us. 30 seconds. Okay, so that's 3 seconds. It's chopped the onions. Now, the next thing we need to do is I've got my little basket here, and I'm going to add the spring onions to the basket on my sink because we're going to discard this liquid. Why did we chop the spring onions in water and vinegar? It's because when you have raw onion, whether it's onion or spring onion, it tends to be sometimes uncomfortable on the gut. You know, you might get a little bit of heartburn or something, and this makes the onions much more gut friendly for you. So whenever I make salads with onion, I will always chop the onion first, add some water and vinegar to it, let it sit there for a little bit, and then it's much more palatable and better for your gut. So I'm just going to go to my sink very quickly. There we go. It's just the chopped. Right, so that's the chopped spring onion. I'm just going to pop it there so it can drain on a plate.
I love that tip, Anna. I've never ever heard that before, and I can't handle onion in a salad, but I love the flavour.
It's honestly, I do that all the time. Whenever I
Wow.
make a salad with onion, it goes at the very bottom, it gets covered in vinegar or vinegar and water, and it becomes a lot more palatable. So, and better for, you know, takes away that uncomfortable feeling in your tummy that you get when you have raw onion.
This could change my world.
I hope so. You'll have to let me know.
I will.
So this is my spring onion. The next thing I need to do is pop it in between some paper to dry it out. So I've just done that like so. Oops, let me get the rest. I'm trying to be quick here, but let's do it properly, shall we? So I've put all the spring onion there, just spreading it out a little bit. Then I'm going to cover it with some paper and just pat it dry lightly, you know, nothing too serious, but just get the excess water out of that. So that's our spring onion ready to go. So let's carry on with the recipe. So now we're going to add all the rest of the ingredients, which is 250 grams of crab sticks. Good old-fashioned crab sticks. It's one whole pack, 250 grams, so that makes it easy. I've just chopped them in half. The next thing we're going to add is 2 boiled eggs. Now, it looks like our egg boiler mode has been very busy today, Joe. I've also been boiling eggs. I've got 4 more eggs because I boiled 6 eggs. I've got 4 more hard-boiled eggs because I like to add them to salads, or I just eat them as snacks as well. My husband likes to eat them as snacks, so we're always boiling eggs in this house. But I have 2 peeled and half boiled eggs, and that's going into the bowl. Let's press next. And we're going to chop that up. So pop the lid on. This is one thing I love about the TM7. It's so immersive and interactive. You know, the picture, the little video is telling you to put the lid on. And I find that so easy to use. And I think the young people in my house, my 2 kids, they actually quite enjoy the TM7 because of that interaction. It's just made it all so simple for them that it's great. So I'm going to press play, 3 seconds. There we go. So that's 3 seconds. So far, everything's been pretty quick. Let's have a look inside the bowl. So that's our crab sticks and the 2 boiled eggs. And now we're going to carry on adding the rest of the ingredients. Now, this is tuna. 2 tins of tuna. I think it was about 190 grams, obviously drained and ready to go. So that's going to go in. There we go. And finally, I've also been making mayonnaise today. So this is my homemade mayonnaise, speak of the devil. I just made it earlier on just to make things, speed things up a little bit for the class. Mayonnaise is so easy to make in Thermomix. I can't tell you, if you haven't tried it yet, you have to try it. There is nothing as yummy as homemade mayonnaise. You know what goes into it. The flavor's better, but also there are no nasties, no added sugars, nothing. And it literally took me, I would say it takes about 1.5 minutes. So I'd say 2 minutes for the whole recipe. Well worth doing. If I have any left over, I'll probably just make some coleslaw with that. So today I used avocado oil. I find olive oil is a little bit too strong in mayonnaise. So I prefer to use an alternative oil because it's just a softer flavor. So I'm going to add my 200 grams of mayo. Ooh, there we go. That's about right. Let's press next. And now we're going to add our spring onion, which has been kind of drying on the side. So that's our spring onion.
Anna, Holly wants to know how long your mayo lasts in the fridge.
Not a lot, I must say. It would probably be a week max. Anything, that's the problem, not a problem, but whenever we make anything homemade, because we're not adding any preservatives to it, unless it's something like a jam, obviously, or the vegetable stock paste that has high content in salt, it won't last more than maybe 2-3 weeks max. So I tend to, because this is a small amount, I tend to make and use straight away. So you're better off making small amounts, using it, rather than letting it hang in the fridge for a long time.
I'll just add on to that.
So
there are 2 recipes on Cookie Do. There's bistro mayonnaise and cooked mayonnaise, and they have like a 2-week shelf life. So they're slightly more vinegary though, but they are gorgeous.
yeah, they are lovely as well. I just think anything homemade doesn't last as long as we would like it to. Some things can be frozen. I haven't frozen mayonnaise, but say, for example, homemade butter can be frozen, homemade milk can be frozen, and you might even be able to freeze mayonnaise. I'll have to Google that and find out. But if you want to make a larger amount and freeze it, that might be another way of not having to make smaller batches all the time. So I'm just going to mix this. This is going to mix for 10 seconds at speed 3.
Heather's just looking for the recipe for mayo. So I think it's probably just the regular mayo that Anna uses. I know that's the one that I use. Is it? Is it just from the basic cookbook? Yeah.
Basic cookbook, regular mayo. Mayo's quite straightforward. It really
just type in
is
mayonnaise, it'll be
just
the first
one
one that
egg,
comes up.
oil, and a little bit of mustard. That's all it is. It's a very simple kind of recipe. There you go. So this is what you get. You get this lovely paste. And what I'm going to do is show you what I tend to do with it, how I tend to eat it. There are 2 different ways that I really enjoy it. So one of them, I've got some bread here, some lovely bread. You could probably use your lentil bagels, ladies, if you wanted to. And of course, I've also got my olive spray, because we all do. Now, in Spain, we love to drizzle oil on bread, but I actually like to spray the oil, because I find that rather than drizzle and get, lots of oil on one end of the bread, and I actually find that spraying it works a lot better. So there you go. Sprays all around. So that's my bread. Now, another thing you can do to your bread, if you want to give it another layer of flavor, is to squeeze a ripe tomato on it. So I love to squeeze, like so, a ripe tomato. Okay, so I'm going to do that on my bread. It just gives it, I love bread with olive oil. I'm just crazy for it. And I love rubbing tomato on my bread and olive oil. So there you go. So let me get another spoon. So we're going to get a little bit of the mixture. And then we have these cute little bits of half a sandwich that we can have a pincho de nosti. That's what it's called in Spanish, pincho de nosti. And this is how you could use French bread, but that's how you could pile it on and eat it like that. The alternative, if you don't want to eat bread, is a little bit of a lettuce, little mini cos lettuce. And this is how I eat them now, because I also try to avoid bread at the minute. So I pop it on there, load it on my mini cos lettuce. Whoops. And this is really, really, really delicious. There we go. So that's kind of, how quick was that? Really easy to make, very delicious. It's got lots of lovely flavors, and it's the perfect summer, whether it's for a picnic, for a snack, for lunch. This is just yummy. I hope you've enjoyed that.
Looks amazing, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. Right, guys, can I jump in quickly? I just want to show you mine. So my dish finished a few minutes ago, and so I have plated it up. So I've got all of my veggies, my prawns, everything all prepped and cooked at the same time. Amazing. And then my pears, look at those, poached and ready. They're so soft. And I've just transferred them into little ramekins, and then I can put that in the freezer, and I can just add topping and pop them in an air fryer, basically. So I've got little ready-made desserts. Or if I wanted to now, we can sit down to dinner, put these in the air fryer, and by the time we've eaten our main meal, there is our pudding prepped. So remember, you can use your Varoma a lot to preserve, fruits and stuff as summer goes on. And if you're like me, you've got a bunch of fruit trees. Your Thermomix becomes your best friend. And then the other thing I've just done is I literally just emptied the water out, most of the water out, and then I've thrown in half a block of Borsan and 20 grams of sweet chili sauce, and I've just whizzed it up into a very quick sauce, just 20 seconds on blend mode, speed 6, and that is literally the end of my dish. So, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen this summer cooking. Make the most of layered cooking, and you've got your dishes prepped and ready. And you can just use whatever you've got in the cupboards. And like the girls have said tonight, prepping your sauces and your mayonnaises, nothing beats the flavour of homemade. And this doesn't take a long time. If I can do it with a 5-month-old baby, you guys can all do it as well. So that is literally dinner made and prepped and dessert and everything. Who else needed to show? Sam, did you want to show us your results? And then I think
I'm going to show mine as well in a minute. You do yours first, Sam.
You go first, love. I've got to get mine. Put them back in the fridge.
Okay, I'm just grabbing my tart. My tart. Is it me? Hello. Can somebody spotlight me for a second? There we go. Oh, I think I'm spotlighted down there. Okay, that's fine. So I've just taken that out of the freezer. It looks pretty good. It's really, really hard. So that's exactly what I wanted. And then I was just going to show you that. Oh, you're looking at my ceiling. Sorry about that. I've got all my things on top of my cupboard. I've just steamed up some lovely leeks in my basket. So I'm going to just pop those into my pastry case. I've got some little strips of smoked salmon so I've just cut up some smoked salmon. I'm going to sprinkle those in on top of there. And then, so I'm actually following a second recipe, which is the leek and smoked salmon quiche. So for the filling, because I couldn't find crab today. Actually, they didn't have any when I went to the fish counter. So I'm doing this filling instead. So I just popped that in there. And then the filling that I'm putting in, it's actually a bechamel base. So which is, oh, there I am. I'm up here. Okay. So it's a bechamel base. So butter, flour, and milk to make a bechamel sauce. Then added a couple of eggs into there. I actually added a small bit of cream as well, and I'm just going to pour that in on top of my lovely fillings there. And that's it, basically. I'll just smooth all of that out. Now, Anne said, I'm going to check with her after this. I'll confirm with everybody afterwards, but I believe that I can freeze this whole thing. I just need to check, does it go in like this, or do I cook it first and then freeze it? I'm thinking that I can freeze it like this. I'll just let it cool down, and then that I can cook it straight from frozen. But I'm going to confirm that with my guru Anne afterwards, because I've got some family coming next week. And I know my kids won't eat this, but my mother-in-law, I think, will love this. So I'm hoping that, that I can do that. But let me just show you what that looks like. It's looking lovely. And then the other thing
I'm really interested because I've never made a quiche with a bechamel base.
I know.
That's really different. I take it it's delicious. You tried it, yeah?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's brilliant, and it's a lovely texture, and obviously for making bechamel in the Thermomix, it takes 7 minutes, and it's perfect. It's smooth. It's perfect, and it's why we actually love Thermomix is that you things like sauces, you just put it all in and you walk away and you come back to perfect sauce. So it is the joy. So I just wanted to show you very quickly. This is I made this in my earlier class. This is the warm halloumi, pomegranate, kale and toasted walnut salad with some giant couscous, and that is a beautiful dish. Just if you're looking for something to add to your summer entertaining, you go to a barbecue and you're bringing a plate, or you just want to add a couple of sides into whatever you're doing, this is a really lovely salad. It's been in the fridge today, so the spinach has gone, or sorry, the kale has gone a little bit dark, but actually it's even nicer now because the kale has taken up all the lovely dressing, which was made from pomegranate molasses and some olive oil. Really, really lovely dressing on that. So definitely recommend that salad.
I make that a
that's it
lot
from
as
me.
well, Michelle. It's a
Love
nice
it.
one.
Remind me what it's called. I'll just find the link.
It's called the warm halloumi and pomegranate salad, I think. Just if you type in warm halloumi, you'll find it.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
And shall we go to Ankita? Or Sam? Sorry, Sam, you ready?
Sam,
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Yeah, it's gorgeous, that salad, Michelle. It's a real favourite of ours as well. It's really, really up. So I've done 3 of the rolls. Here we go. And I've whizzed up the dipping sauce. So I've just put it in there because we are going to be having it tomorrow, although the kids may attack this tonight. And I've got enough noodles in there probably to do maybe 3 more. So yeah, that's lunch done. And I've also made a Portuguese bread just because I needed one. So this is a real favourite. If you haven't made this yet, where have you been? If you're brand new, you may be forgiven, but this needs to be probably your first bread. And you may never do another bread. You'll be like, nothing beats the water bread. So give it a try, guys.
Amazing. Thank you. Shall we go to Ankita? Do you want to show us your end results?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have now dressed mine and I couldn't find goat cheese. So I've put mozzarella on, and that is dinner for me. But you can see this is a massive container and how much that makes. So this is a really great, again, side dish or main dish to go to a barbecue or to feed, people for lunch. Obviously, we're having it with cheese. I often have it with grilled chicken or steamed salmon as well. And I absolutely love it.
Amazing.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm about to bite into it now. I haven't had dinner yet.
And Deb, have your rolls risen to the challenge?
Ooh.
Look at them.
So I made one.
Amazing.
Wow.
But of a slice one open and show you just how soft they are. So to show you just how squeezy, so they're nice and squeezy soft. But just to show you inside as well. So they're nice and squeezy soft. They're just honestly, the texture is delicious. And just
how long did they bake?
About 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I've just done those, and then I did one as a whole loaf, because we'll have that tomorrow with sauce. So there they are.
Amazing. Thank you, Deb. Right.
Can I interrupt a second? Somebody's asking about how to take the basket out with a spatula. So I've got my basket and my spatula here. Ready?
Okay,
Let
me just find out.
I've got it here if you want to see.
Yeah,
so I've got my basket, and as you can see, the spatula has a little hook there. So that hook, it's where you put your thumb on there. There's also a little hole where you're going to hook it. So that hook goes in that little hole, and that's how you're going to get your basket in and out of your Thermomix when it's hot. Okay, so let's pop it out again. There's a little hook there, and underneath the thumb place, there's a tiny little hole, and that's where it goes in. Normally when it's heavy inside the basket, you'll notice that it, because there's food inside, it'll click in very easily. I had to hold it there because it's empty. Okay, hope that helps.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anna. Right, I feel like I've done everybody.
Can I also show my end result? I decorated.
Replace.
Okay, so look at this.
Oh, that looks so
wow.
nice.
I'm sitting here looking at them and thinking I want to eat it. And it doesn't smell of eggs. It doesn't taste of eggs. Honestly, this will be my go-to chocolate dessert from now on.
So I've done
amazing.
Just as a quick story, I did the high protein avocado one. So the avocado chocolate pieces as the alternative. And we went for dinner with a group of friends. And my daughter let me down badly because I prepared it and did it all in little glass dishes as going around, because his wife said to me that they wanted really healthy food. So I prepared it, and my daughter went, "Oh, chocolate mousse!" And if you've ever tasted the chocolate mousse that's in the recipe, it's gorgeous. And she opened it and she went, "What's that?" And there was about 3 people there going, "Oh, I don't like it." So the avocado one didn't go down very well, but my daughter outed me at this dinner party that it was horrible, that it wasn't the normal one.
Try this one. They won't know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm going
they
to
will
try
not
that
know.
one and see what it is.
I'm going
So
to
we've
put it
had
in
a
the fridge
question
and
about
see
what
in the
recipe
morning.
is. Joe, I've posted the recipe above. Just scroll up the chat, and the egg recipe is there. And if you open it on Cookie-Doo, let me just see if I can show you very quickly.
You can use Google Translate.
So
Yeah.
here, if we're on Cookie-Doo, if I go to my week, I can show you. I've added it to my week, for example. There you go. And if I open in Google Chrome, it's automatically going to normally translate it for me. Don't know why it's not done it on this particular recipe. And I can't see right now.
The 3 dots on the right at the top, will it translate there?
Yeah, so normally up here.
Next to your face, your kind of profile.
Yeah, next to your browser.
That one.
Yeah.
Translate. It's detecting the language automatically and it's converting it into English. Go on. Go, go, go.
It's because you're recording and everything, doing Zoom and everything on your laptop, darling, so.
Right, language translated into English. That's correct. Translate. There you go. Protein.
There we go. Woohoo.
So normally Google Translate will automatically do that for you. The other option is on your phone. If you open Google Search and you tap the camera icon on the Google search bar, you can use Google Lens and just scroll your camera screen over the Thermomix screen, and it will translate on your phone the English steps as well. So yeah, we have run a bit over. Sorry everyone, but it's just been such a good class, and I hope that you've enjoyed. I think all of us just hope that you have enjoyed the evening, that you've learnt some bits and bobs. I've learnt something. I've learnt more than one thing. Like, loved it. Thank you. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, let us know what you would love to see again in the future.
B, some of us got cooking classes coming up. Can we advertise those?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
So anybody, we're all Liverpool based, West Kirby, outside West Kirby railway station. I've got one coming up on Monday at 1 o'clock. If you want to come along there, it's basic cooking. So 1 o'clock, West Kirby, right outside West Kirby railway station. Very easy to get to from Liverpool, etc. And there's parking quite local.
Great. We've got one on the 28th in Wakefield at the branch office there. And it's a women's wellness. So we've got a nurse, advanced nurse practitioner who is a menopause specialist, and she's coming to chat, and we're doing lots of recipes to support hormone health. So it's all women of all ages though.
Amazing. So thank you so much everyone for joining. We're going to stop the recording here. And if you have any questions, feel free to